that was very good. Now I want to see how well you boys and girls can sing, and the boys and girls out there. I want you to all join me in singing the new Magic Clown song. Watch your television, and you sing along with you. I want to hear how well you've learned it. Are we ready, orchestra? Strike up the band. Oh, we love the Magic Clown. The swellest show in town. The tricks are fun for everyone. We love the Magic Clown. There's Laffy too, you know. He stars in every show. And have you heard the magic word? Hey, it's Bonomo! Oh! You know, you did that very, very well, boys and girls.
Growing up, all I wanted to be was a clown. To give people the same warm and fuzzies I'd felt watching them growing up. But it ain't that way no more. Stephen King and his clown Pennywise kicked the last leg the industry was standing on. I was ready to give it up when I got the call to start working at a hospital. My routine was simple. I had a few props and used a lot of physical comedy. Some kids loved me, others not so much, but it didn't matter. I was having fun. That is, until I met Laszlo the Clown. He struck fear into the children. His maniacal laughter and aggressive way of dealing with the kids was disturbing to say the least. The first time I was exposed to this guy, he had a boy quivering in his seat while he stood over him, just laughing. The hospital staff either didn't notice or didn't care. I don't know if Laszlo acted this way when the parents were around, but I'd put my money on him being fired if he did. As the new guy, I was apprehensive to say something, but I couldn't sit by and watch. When I finished work on my first day, I was walking to my car, still contemplating whether to speak with him first or just report him. I saw him smoking near the exit, and I decided to try speak with him first. Laszlo didn't take his eyes off me as I approached. I tried introducing myself, but he continued smoking his cigarette, his eyes acknowledging my presence but remaining silent. I went on to say I thought his routine, if you could call it that, was scaring the children. I'd been doing this a long time and was willing to share some pointers and help him work on his routine. Laszlo remained silent and took another draw, and we stood in silence as he exhaled. I became frustrated with what I perceived as arrogance. I told him if he didn't clean up his act, I would report him and make sure he never worked with children again. My outburst caught his attention, but not in the way I'd expected. A big toothy grin spread across Laszlo's face, his unflinching eyes pierced through me. It was the look of a predator sizing up its prey. I tried to remain confident, but couldn't help but feel unnerved by this guy. The hairs stood up on the back of my neck as he licked his lips while still refusing to break eye contact. I asked him if he had anything to say, and his eyes widened in a crazed sort of way. Then came the giggle, the same eerie one he used with the kids. This guy was still playing his clown persona with me. A chill ran down my spine, and I mumbled something about him losing his job. Creeped out and realizing the conversation was going nowhere, I had turned away from Laszlo and headed to my car. When I got in, I took a moment to regain my composure before heading home. I couldn't understand how a guy like this even got the job. There were plenty of clowns dying to get any gig that loved children and just wanted to entertain. I decided I'd just report him the next day and be done with it. That night, I was lying in bed when I heard a tapping sound coming from my window. At first, I tried to ignore it, but it grew louder and more aggressive. Looking over, I saw Laszlo standing there, staring at me with wide, crazed eyes. He let out the most terrifying laugh as he ran his bloodied hand down my window. I shot out of bed and searched for my phone as he continued to laugh at me. When I looked back up, he was gone. Looking out the window, phone in my hand, I saw him on the top of my car with the sledgehammer above his head. He brought it down, laughing wildly as I called the police. I was too scared to do anything but watch him destroy my car as I spoke to emergency services. He left before the police arrived, but he was later found smoking behind a gas station, still dressed in his clown attire. I don't know what happened to him after that. I never received compensation for the damages to my car. I decided to give up the dream of clowning full-time after that. Not because of Laszlo, but because clowns are a dying breed. Now I work at an office, answering phones in a cubicle, quietly reminiscing on the times my job gave me joy.